In Kyle Shanahan's scheme, the center plays an integral leadership position in the trenches. And in 2024, unfortunately, Jake Brendel ranked 51st out of 64 centers in pass blocking grade, and get this, 63rd out of 64th in penalties among centers. Now, no amount of leadership qualities could make up for those performances. The San Francisco 49ers have several options at center ahead of the 2025 season, and the latest report has me absolutely hyped. Let's get into it. Hit subscribe, by the way, if you're looking for daily 49ers content, but I know you feel my pain when it comes to the 2024 season. You might even ask yourself, what are we going to do now? Much of that pain came at the pressure to the quarterback. Penalties like false starts and illegal formations. Jake Brendel certainly doesn't sit alone in carrying the responsibility of how the trenches were handled this season, but he is definitely toward the top of the list. And to his credit, the 49ers had a really rough season, and everybody was impacted by it. But at the end of the day, the 49ers need to make a move at this position, and there is good news in the draft world. Now, the newest updates I'm going to get to in just a second related to drafting a potential center. But we need to talk about what I think is the best case scenario first. I don't believe that Kyle Shanahan is likely to rely on a rookie in the leadership role that Kyle likes for the centers to play. So let's talk about a free agent option first, the best free agent option. You've already heard about him. I want to give you some kind of newer updates toward him. And then later in the video, we're going to get to some draft prospects. If you're only here for the draft prospect, don't click away. Just double tap on the right side of your phone and you're going to zoom right ahead until you see those draft prospects showing up. But let's talk about the best case scenario, in my opinion, Drew Dalman. Now, I'm sure you're not surprised to hear that name. His name's been floating around. Sporting News reported today, and SB Nation's Jason Aponte, to be fair too, urging the 49ers to make a significant investment in Drew Dalman, the former Atlanta Falcons starting center, who ranks top 10 in most grading systems at the position. I've got some specific grades on him I think you're going to find really interesting in a New York Minute. But here's what they said. Drew Dalman should be a priority for the 49ers. This is Jason Aponte writing. His signing could help the team focus on different positions in the draft to strengthen the roster further, and which is a really important point that nobody wants to remember. Now, I'm going to give you a first-round option, second-round option, really second-round option. Don't do the first round, please. I'm also going to give you a fifth-round option in a second, but this opportunity to sign a top-end offensive lineman, particularly at center, which is an impactful position in Shanahan's system, doesn't come around often. With the 49ers set to extend their franchise quarterback, it is time to invest in fully protecting their investment. Let me get to this other point that he said too. Dalman, 26, has started each of the 40 games he's played for the last 3 years and had a career best 1.1% blown block rate in 2024. He was worth 24 points earned despite being limited to 9 games this season per Sports Info Solutions, and that main article coming from Sporting News. Now, I want to say as we move off of Dalman in a second, I still think this is the best option for the Niners. I think leadership at the position, I think having a guy with some experience, and he's still young, I think there's a huge opportunity for him there. I'm going to get to the stats on him, but just bear in mind, Jake Brendel's still under contract, okay? That's a reality we do need to keep in mind. And I don't know how it all shake out in training camp and how contracts and stuff and the cap hits. We'll have to wait and see how all of that plays out over the course of the offseason to really have a good feel on what the 49ers are going to do. However, if they do choose to drop the cash for Drew Dalman, he ranked 4th out of 64 centers in overall PFF grade. He ranked 5th out of 64 in run blocking, 22nd out of 64 in pass blocking, had only 3 penalties in 2024. He's 6'3", 300, and he's 26 years old. That's a great age to make a nice chunk of money for the guy, but also get a guy around here at a good size and a good age for the good chunk of time. And I'm going to knock on wood when I say this, but injury-wise, things have been going pretty well for the guy. Now, if the 49ers decide that they're going to keep Jake Brendel as the veteran option and bring in a rookie, let's start with a guy who's going to go within probably the first 2 rounds, Gray Zabel, okay? This dude is 6'6", 301 pounds, has a solid makeup for an interior lineman. And here his scouting report is from Bleacher Report saying Gray Zabel is a 2.5-year starter at both tackle and guard spots inside North Dakota's run-heavy 64-36 run-pass split, multiple run scheme. Now, Zabel is popping off right now at the Senior Bowl, and so that's why folks are really talking about him. His draft stock is raising, so you've probably heard about him as well already. But Zabel has a well-proportioned build with good athletic ability and play strength. Zabel excels as a run blocker, using very good pad level and leverage to work inside and underneath his target and on angle, drive, and base blocks. Working to step on the toes of the defender, work his hips through and seal off rush lanes from behind his back. Once he gets defenders lifted, he shows a firm understanding of how to create displacement away from the ball, and he strains hard late in the rep to create knockdowns. Viewed as an interior lineman at the pro level, many scouts feel he could be the first such player of this ilk called in April, likely going within the top 50 picks. While it'd be a massive reach for the 49ers to grab him at number 11 overall, please don't do that. Using a second-round pick on Zabel isn't out of the question. Doesn't mean that you want him to. Doesn't mean that you want, the Niners to do that. But I'm just telling you what folks are saying right now, okay? Now, Jordan Reed, reporting on Senior Bowl practices and stuff, said yesterday he was the most impressive player on either team. North Dakota State offensive lineman Gray Zabel played every spot up front, strong anchor, powerful hands, exceptional practice today. When you hear the words played every spot up front, strong anchor, powerful hands, what does that sound like to you? Because to me, that sounds similar to a Dominic Pooney kind of scouting report we talked about last year. A guy who's played at multiple positions, athletic, and able to do a lot of different things. That's something that the Niners definitely appreciate in their offensive linemen. Guys who can play at multiple positions is a huge value for the 49ers. That makes me think he's at least on their radar, no doubt. Larry Krueger, on the other hand, made a different suggestion recently, saying that we should focus on Marcus Lear out of Montana State, a guy that he predicts could go in round 5. This is an interesting prospect. So let's talk about this Montana State Marcus Wehr. He typed it wrong. It's not Lear, it's Wehr, and I read it. I don't even know. I think I read it. But anyway, it's Marcus Wehr, okay? Now, Marcus Wehr is a Montana native, so I think that means he's a Montanan. I'm guessing that's how you say that. Not 100% sure, but Weir's skill set. This is from Sports Illustrated. Weir's skill set is ideally suited for a zone blocking scheme, sounds good so far, where his lateral quickness and acceleration to the second level can be maximized. His explosive burst off the snap is one of his standout traits, giving him an advantage in reaching blocks quickly and maintaining leverage against defenders. Weir displays good core strength and leg drive, allowing him to move defenders off their spots and create running lanes. He maintains a square base with efficient hand placement and grip strength, enabling him to latch onto defenders and sustain blocks through the whistle. His finishing ability is also a highlight as he consistently looks to put his opponents on the ground, showcasing his tenacity and physical mindset. Which makes me wonder, we have 11 weeks-ish until the 49ers are going to be having their first OTAs. And I'm just curious. I don't even know why I went to that slide. I'm not going to lie to you. What do you guys think? Comment below. Where do you want the Niners to get a center from? I believe firmly the Niners have a problem that needs to be solved, and it's no disrespect to Jake Brendel. It was not all on his shoulders this year, but when you have a guy like Colton McKivitz who has a bounce-back year and is playing pretty darn well at the right tackle position, it definitely makes me think a little bit differently about how the 49ers should be approaching the situation. I believe, and you can comment below your disagreement, please do. I believe we're best off if the 49ers go out there and get a Drew Dalman in free agency, splash some cash for him. That's where I would like to see the Niners make a move on a guy who has some veteran experience, has done it at the professional level, at a high level, even in the professional level, at a high level. Like, that's a good thing to have. And I think it would be a massive improvement for the 49ers to go out there and make that splash move. However, there are genuine prospects in the draft. I just showed you a couple of them. One that's going to be a potential top 50 guy and a second one that is going to be, could be a 5th rounder. And both of these guys are good prospects. One of them definitely higher than the other right now. But I'm curious what you guys think. You guys know the pain that I'm talking about when we talk about how this season went from an offensive line perspective. I would love to see the Niners make a big move here and make a statement move at center at a position that's important to them. And if it means they draft a guy and keep Brendel around a little bit, but there's a replacement there who's getting reps, you never, ever know what could happen. We saw a 3rd round, yes, a 3rd round guy, but we saw a rookie right guard in Dominic Purdy step into a situation where there are a lot of injuries during training camp, and he not only did he earn the role, he kept the role all season long because he earned it and then some. And so when we talk about like preseason and training camp, and it doesn't really matter until you get to the real game, and Dominic Purdy is showing, no, it does matter. Preseason matters. What you do in preseason definitely matters. And on top of that, then convert that in the first week against the New York Jets and go out there and have a stud performance and then find your way into the top 5 rankings week after week. I mean, he did it so many times, going so high in the grades. I think that the 49ers could be onto something here, and I'm really excited about the prospects at center, and I would love to see the 49ers make some kind of a move. Let me know in the comments what you think. I look forward to it, seeing what you have to say about it, and appreciate you. Hope you have a fantastic evening.